Okay, so if you're reviewing for your unit test tomorrow, I'm just going to walk you through a couple things that you want to be sure that you don't forget. So you may want to take out your notes and use your, and just take some notes as we go through. I'm going to give you some tips and things that I think will be helpful, as well as just an overall review. Okay, a couple things here. Study those multiple choice practice questions that we did today. Like I said, I took those from old AP questions and just looked at what your unit test has on it and just kind of changed the questions around a little bit. So study those. Those will definitely help you, especially the wording and how the questions are worded on the AP, which seems to throw students for a loop a lot of times. So make sure you study those multiple choice questions that we did today. Just a couple of reminders. Study the notes. There's a lot of information in there, so don't get too bogged down on it, but definitely review that first page of notes that goes through. It talks a little bit about catalysts, and it talks about activation energy, and it talks about all of those things that are important that we really didn't go into in depth in class. So make sure you study those. Another thing, don't overthink the half-lives. Half-lives are not that complicated, but why 80% of students get those multiple choice questions wrong is because they overthink it. So make sure you don't overthink half-lives, and be careful. It's not half of the total, it's half of each consecutive thing. So I've given you an example here. 16 goes to 8, goes to 4, then to 2, then to 1 to 0.5. Alright? So that's a couple things that you want to look over. We are going into relative rate laws next on the next slide. So you want to go ahead and have that out. That's one of the very, very beginning things that we did in our unit on kinetics. You might see a relative rate law question thrown here or there. It's very easy. This is what we did the very, very first day. You've got it in your notes. This is where you put the 1 over the coefficient. And you just remember that your reactants are negative and your products are positive. That's because in a reaction, your reactants are disappearing and your products are appearing as the reaction proceeds. So look back through that. Like I said, you may see one of those thrown here and there. It's really, really easy. So you just look at your coefficient, you put 1 over the coefficient, and that would be your change in concentration over your change in time. So that would be, for A, for example, would be negative 1, the change in concentration, negative over 1, change in concentration over change in time. B would be negative 1 over 3, and that would be the concentration in B over the change in time. And then you would have yields positive 1 over 1, and that's always your change in concentration over your change in time. And then a positive 1 over 2, change in concentration of G, for example, over the change in time. So look back through that. Like I said, you may see 1 or 2 thrown here or there. Very easy. All you do is put your 1 over your coefficient, and you remember that's your concentration over your time. Okay? I'm going over graphs and charts. So if you see graphs and charts anywhere in your notes, pay close attention to those and make sure that you know what those stand for and how to read them.